2K23, we want to be able to improve it. We want to be able to fix some things. Junior Fatu says creation slots. We have 100 slots, but only 50 generic as theme songs and like 3 mini-trons. Let's talk about creation slots. This seems to be something that the community and everybody is really wanting to be able to fix. We've been getting the 100 slots for quite some time now, and a lot of you are going to be more in tune and in depth than I am, because in terms of creation suite, I am not a pro. I don't do the creations, although M.A. Knight, I have him. So stay tuned, because I'm going to do a video on M.A. Knight, yeah. But I am not a pro when it comes to Creation Suite. However, I do realize now with my time with 2K22 that it's really, really annoying not being able to add more creations. Being maxed out with the logos, the images, it feels like, especially for creators that upload a lot of community creations, that do a ton of work for the community, that this is a big, big pain point, that they are not going to get enough room, essentially. And you'd think that with patches and updates, and by now they would see that they could do this, and this is definitely something they need to be able to address. So I think that something easy that 2K could do for 2K23 is going to be increase the creation slots. And quite honestly, I know that we would sit there and say, give me 1,000, but even if they upped it, if 2K23 does incremental improvements, which is my belief, is that 2K23 is going to be a build off of what we have for 2K22, I think we see small improvements. I think this is one that they really, really need to do, which is give us more creation slots. Johnny Handsome says they could stop putting the skin tone tights, so more creation. They could stop putting the skin tone tights on under the women wrestlers' trunks, as they are unnecessary for animated wrestlers and cause many problems and glitches with attires and customization. For example, Billie Kay's 2K20 attire, if you change the main color, stripes go down her legs. Okay, that's a really good one too. So being able to fix the skin tone issues with creation. I think with Creation Suite, because there's so many technical aspects in there, I really wish that 2K would take the time to patch and update that. I feel like, again, 2K23 is going to be a build off of what we have right now and try and do something a little bit better. RSE, who is a big supporter on the show, I appreciate him. He says, the ability to have full creation options in creating an arena. Creating an arena is a big one too, even for me. A superstar and etc., we shouldn't have limitations when it comes to creativity in the game. Creating an arena is a really big one, right? Like, Create Arena right now is completely stripped down. I've even messed around in Create an Arena. I'm a big dumbass, and I'm not good at doing creations. I do like going in there, and I'll try and make an updated Raw or SmackDown or something retro or a pay-per-view, and I have fun in there. The tools are simple enough for people to grab, and I'm trying to think, again, if you're a casual player, you want to be able to get into these tools and not have them be overwhelming in terms of what you can do. But I feel like 2K has gone the other way a little bit of like, okay, we've made this too simple and too restrictive. The day-night also is not working in there when it comes to arenas. I can't get a nighttime show. What happened when we had select you on day, evening, night for the pay-per-view for an outdoor arena? Things like that are easy fixes that we could totally get in 2K23, which absolutely should be done here. I like the amount of sets they have and the set designs. I'm sure many of you would disagree and say, you know what, there isn't enough for me to do in there to switch it up for Titantrons, different show feels and all of that. But I feel that 2K's added in quite a bit when it comes to the ramps, the Titantrons, but like, where's the pyro? Where's pyro options? And I guess I'm talking more for create a superstar entrance creations. We'll get there too. But for the arenas, yeah, day-night cycles, different styled arenas would be nice if they refresh that a little bit. I like that we do get the Thunderdome. I'm sure they'll leave it in there for next year too. There's no reason to take it out. It's a fine option, at least if people want to play with that. But I do feel that the arena designs need a little bit more detail. So let's talk about my GM specifically. He says also allow custom shows and titles for GM, use managers in GM, allow us to edit promo skills in GM. GM mode is something that I was clamoring for to see how it was going to do, and was it going to be a big improvement in what we've had in the past. When it was initially announced by 2K, I thought that they could do a lot bringing this mode back, and when it initially came out, it was definitely stripped down and hollow. They then later patched it a little bit. We got the addition of the tag titles in there. but it was a late addition and more of just like a here you go. My GM has so much potential. My gut tells me that universe mode and my GM is still going to be there next year for 2K23. I think that having the 6-8 month cycle doesn't allow them a lot of time to revamp and redo full game modes. However, I think at this stage in the game, if you're going to continue with my GM, then you need something that's going to be a little bit more depth. And if they do at all listen to fan feedback, they should be aware of this, and they should try and improve upon this by doing things like more match types, multi-man matches, allowing you to have the ability to do a triple threat, a fatal four-way match. I think it's absurd that we don't have these things. Multi-man matches, because again, I've said this on shows previously where I'm like, why don't we have a triple threat fatal four-way? We have a tag match, so you can do 4 superstars in the ring. It just seems like it's a half-baked and half-step measure. They do need to have substantial changes. I think you need to be able to have elements like it. General manager mode is to be able to manage contracts, the terms, all of that, and get your star ratings and your budgets. It's all of the nitty gritty of the wrestling game. It's not about, well, I want to be able to put in a custom story in there. You don't want to do that, but you want to have more match options. Also, I think that an easy fix for 2K for my GM is going to be removing or revamping the rivalry system that they put in place. I don't think it works at all. I think it's a little bit off-putting when I've got to put a heavyweight and a light cruiserweight together all the time to get a good match. I think that's silly. I think it should be trying to get the ratings up of Edge and trying to get him to a higher level based on his performance week over week. For match ratings, for example, if he has good match ratings, then he moves up the card, and it should totally be irrelevant whether it's going to be Edge versus Rey Mysterio, and that's a good or bad matchup. It's up to me because it's my world that I'm trying to create. So I feel it was a little too restrictive when it comes to GM. And we have Edge and AJ Styles picked up the win, ladies and gentlemen. What a match. What a maneuver. Talk my faction a bit. I think my faction mode should exist. I think it should exist. However, it got a lot of improvements. It is as I said before, a half-step measure, which feels a lot of 2K22 with some easy things that they can improve. Number one, yes, we will all say it, and let's just put it to bed. We want to be able to unlock the My Faction renders, attires, characters, and play them in exhibition offline. Period. That's just like, and I've said this even directly to 2K. I've said it on my show. I want to be able to have either, if you're 2K, if you want to make money off of this ultimately, then you can charge for My Faction attires. You could. It's more DLC. You just reframe it. Like, we get a couple of months with the tried and true DLC method, which I don't think 2K is going to steer away from. I think they should. I don't think they will. But if you want to make more money, just say, get the virtual currency and buy these attires through My Faction. Unlock the attires through My Faction. If you really want people to play this mode, and they really want people to do this and spend more money on cards, you got to put the bigger carrot at the end to be like, hey, this month, get yourself Firefly Funhouse Alexa Bliss by completing these challenges in My Faction. I think people would go bananas for that. If they didn't have it locked behind strictly a paywall, but if I was able to grind and unlock Alexa Bliss, that makes people happy because then they can work towards something in the game outside of even exhibition, because people get bored of modes. So they sit there and they go, I want to grind. I want to grind for the best characters, the best attires, the best parts, like whatever it is. And then they can unlock all of this stuff. That's a really fun way to do it, in my opinion, to improve the game and to keep it going beyond the season pass and beyond the DLC where it ends in August, September, and we're left with nothing. Now they have My Faction where they keep rolling this out every month, but you could easily do it where you're like, what they are doing, lining it up with the pay-per-view schedule to say, Extreme Rules came out. Here are the cards for Extreme Rules. All you got to do if you're 2K and you know that you have these attires behind My Faction locked in the mode, 1, 2 of them that are related to Extreme Rules. Let's just say Alexa Bliss in this argument. You want to make her available? Just put her lined up with Extreme Rules. Alexa Bliss is now available. Grind out this weekly challenge, and you got to get whatever score on it all, or whatever. You just got to be able to grind out this weekly challenge for Extreme Rules, and you will unlock Alexa Bliss. You make it challenging enough, but not stupid challenging. And you could give people the option to say, you can grind it, or you could pay the equivalent of say $5 and you could get it yourself.